Hi y'all. So I wanted to make this little video. I try to make videos at the beginning of each lesson that just walk you through the big picture for this lesson and also um, highlighting where in the lesson you need to do work, right? You need to write something or put something in or use a link. Just because sometimes people don't notice instructions, and unlike a traditional classroom, you can't ask your neighbor, you can't raise your hand and ask your teacher. So I make this little video to walk you through the whole lesson. This is data. It is one of the two foundation classes for the science area. The mission is to get you ready for the HiSET because the HiSET has questions on there that require you to interpret tables and graphs. Those can take many forms, but they are a significant portion of the HiSET question area, and it's a big area of the HiSET science section where traditional reading comprehension is not going to be as useful. Graphs and tables are really specific to science, and so you might be a great reader, and that's going to carry you through a lot of the HiSET science section, but it might not necessarily help you read a table or a graph. So that's why we have this class. So this first page is just going over what data is, why it might matter to your real life, and how you're going to see it on the HiSET. I've included links to 4 different HiSET practice tests, science practice tests, that have questions that involve tables or graphs. So if you're like, well, maybe I know how to do this already, maybe I've got this, go take a look at those. And if you do have it, go take that HiSET. If you don't, or you want to be more confident, feel like you could know more, this is what that class is for. All right, your first intro question is give me an example of data based on that definition on the first page that you might want to collect and tell me why you might want to collect it. An example might be, this is a cup of iced coffee. Maybe I want to figure out how much coffee I drink in a day because I know I drink a lot, and maybe that's getting in the way of me sleeping well. So if I record that data, maybe I will see a pattern. I might record how many cups of coffee I drink and how many hours of sleep I get every night. We'll see, right? Maybe those two things are related. Maybe they're not. All right, next page is all about units. I'm sure your science teachers, wherever you left off in school, talk to you about units, but it's a thing that people forget a lot, and it is really important for understanding all science, period. And B, on the HiSET, keeping your units straight will be important as well. This yellow box is about imagining a world where there are no units. And imagine that if someone asks how tall you are, you say, well, I'm 57. 57 what? Well, if we don't have the words inches and we don't have the word feet, and no one agrees on how long a foot is. Some people think a foot is this long. Some people think it's this long. Some people think it's this long. If there's no agreement on what a foot means, it'd be very hard to describe how big something is or how far away something is. So imagine what that might be like. That's what this is about. Or when people leave out units, right? I'm drinking 2. 2 what? 2 liters? 2 cups? 2 ounces? If you don't leave out units, it's unclear. So that's what this question is about. This box just explains what units are and why they're important. Here's a little check for understanding. Why are they important? Give me your own answer. There's a lot of correct answers for this box, this pink box here. All right, fun with units. You're going to click on this link. I've made you a little Mad Lib. A Mad Lib is just a thing where you fill in words when it asks you for them. So it's going to ask you for like a color. Pick any color. It's going to ask you for a length unit. Pick any length unit here under length. Centimeter, foot, yard, kilometer. All of those are length units. It's going to ask you for a volume unit. Again, look at volume. Look at area, a square foot, a yard, a square meter. Mass is the same thing as weight, pretty much. I'm so many pounds, I'm so many grams, I'm so many kilos. All right? All of those are units. When it asks you for units, don't put in numbers. Put in words. feet, pounds, tons, meters, right? All right, now let's get to the meat of the question. This is a table. This section here goes over all the parts of a table. What you should be looking for when you're looking at a table. If you're not the greatest reader, or you just find reading kind of tedious and you can't focus on it well, I made a video that you'd click on here, this little blue link. That's essentially me just going over what's written here. If that's easier for you, you should do it that way. Obviously, working on reading comprehension is important, but you're working on that in reading classes. If you want to focus on reading and focus on science and science, that's why I have the videos. And you're going to answer these two questions based on what you've learned in this table. All right. And then this is the next level. This is the okay, we've gotten to the hard stuff. This is a much more complicated table, but the same rules apply as applied up here. It has a title, it has columns, it has units, it has data. All right, title, here are our columns, right? This is measuring different years, the total energy production by type of energy production. All right, and then these actual numbers here are the recorded data. So there are 5 questions here. Read them carefully because people there's 1 or 2 questions here that people frequently get wrong because they didn't read the question very carefully. So read these questions, answer them to the best of your ability based on that table. If you get lost, give it a shot anyway, right? If you get it wrong, the worst thing that's going to happen is I'm going to add a little comment and look like this. I'm like, I don't think you got it yet. Have you thought about blah, 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 blah? And then you look at it and be like, oh, it's this. And I'll be like, yes, great job. Way to learn things. If you don't put anything down, though, I have no idea if you just skipped it because you didn't want to do it, skipped it because you didn't know how to do it. Those are 2 very different things. So give it a shot. All right? This is just where I go over how to build your own table. It's actually really simple. I figure out what I want to study. I make my columns. Put some headers in those columns so I know what the heck I'm talking about. And then I add my data. It's, Monday morning and I'm drinking 3 cups of coffee. Oh, that's a lot of coffee. And over the next 3 days, I'll record all that data and come up with this. I want you to try to do that. You can use the insert a table option. I've made a little video on how that works. Or write it out on a piece of paper. It doesn't have to be very complicated. It doesn't have to be very exciting, right? You're not conducting a real scientific experiment here. You're just figuring out how to record data and look at it in a table. Write on a piece of paper, take a picture of it, insert it in here right there. It's fine. If you can't figure out how to do that, take a picture of it and email it to me. I'm fine with that too. Just as long as I get some sense that you know how to make a table. Last important thing, if you're lost, if you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, Liz, or I don't understand how tables work and your videos did not help, click on this link. You can sign up for a check-in with me, the same as my coaching students, just so I can get you on the phone or get you on GChat and walk you through it. All right? Hope that was helpful. When you're done with this, with this lesson, come back and rewatch this video and make sure you did all the parts of it so you get the most out of your lessons as you can. All right, bye-bye.